And we are live. What's going on, traders? Johnny here with another live day trading session. Today is February 3rd, 2026. Market just opened. Now it's 7:30. Hope you guys are all having a great start to your Tuesday morning as we kick off the week with another great trading session here. Let's see what trades we can get into. All right, link is shared. Hope you guys can hear me okay, see me okay. All right. We are live. Yeah, I don't know why the computer's glitching out. There we go. QQQ down to 627, up about 0.16%. PayPal is down almost 20%, 19%. PayPal expects full-year adjustment profits to decline by a low single-digit percentage or increase only slightly. Compared with Wall Street's forecast for roughly 8% growth, the company pointed to weaker U.S. retail spending and slower growth in its branded checkout businesses as key reasons for the shortfall. Crazy how much PayPal is selling off. Netflix also down to a 52-week low. Bitcoin down to 78,150. MSTR gap down to 139 this morning. Now it could continue to sell off down to 134.99. It could, doesn't have to. It's definitely possible. MSTZ up to 18. Bitcoin's kind of just been consolidating at this level, as you can see here. Even when we go to like the 30-minute time frame, it's selling off from 90,000 January 28th. Now it's struggling to get above 79,200. You guys can see that right there. Bouncing right off of my, on a low of 74,500, which it's touched that level before. Says Kango Inc. reports 496 Bitcoin mined in January. That's interesting. So we do have our alerts set. Either a break above moving average or break below this level. MSTR still selling off. Want to buy a few shares here. Whoa, that was a little loud. There we go. STR making new lows. 138.44. Add another, and we'll be patient. Q is hitting our support level here at 625.97. We'll see if this begins to drop even more. Everything's selling off slightly. MSTU selling off on MSTU. Ooh, 1830. Jeez Louise. Guess I'll be buying another 10 shares up here at 1830. Up $2 on $366 on 20 shares. Wow. Bitcoin's selling off. See if it sells off a little bit more. Also, PLTR. We talked about this in the Discord, pushing up very nicely here. I don't know why it looks like this. It's so weird how some of them look like this and some don't. Very odd the way that looks. But yeah, PLTR pushed up very nicely yesterday from 147 to 167, a nice 13%. Now it's selling off. Still incredibly bullish, up about 7% overnight. Yeah, PLTR, that's very interesting. Pushed up, selling off. I wonder why PLTR looks like this on my screen though. Very odd that it wouldn't stay correlated. QQQ down to 625. Looks like it pushed up to 643 in the overnight hours. QQQ pushed up to $643 in the overnight hours. That is insane. That is insane. Also, why is this yellow? This should be red. There we go. Bitcoin. We can see Bitcoin sell off more. Could also begin to just consolidate. It's still consolidating within this level. You know what I mean? You guys see that right there? It's just kind of consolidating. I'd love to see it sell off a little bit more. Doesn't have to, but it's definitely possible. MSTZ up to 1844. Yeah, I kind of missed this move here. 1746 to 1846. 5% profit or $1 per share again today. Very beautiful. Bitcoin down 1.22%. Looks like it is breaking that psychological support. We'll See if we begin to see another leg down. See if we get another leg up. I really don't want to add any more to my 20 shares at this level. Wow. MSTR down to 137.85. MSTR selling off even more. MSTZ up to 1850. Sell 10 shares up here. And I could always buy more. Cool. Locked in $5, which is not much, but if this comes back down, I could buy more shares and then ride the wave back up again. As this could find support and begin to push higher, it is in a little bit of a consolidation range. As you can see right there, it's kind of bouncing off of 77,700. Why the internet's being so weird today. All right. Morning, Andrew. Good morning. If Bitcoin finds a support to retest highs, I can always get back into MSTZ. But it just pushed up to 1867, which again, this is like MSTZ's highs. Looks like it's been getting rejected around 1888. So we locked in about $5 on 20 shares. I didn't want to buy more shares at these elevated levels, as you know, it could have easily turned against me. It would have been better to buy more shares right at open, you know, around 1750 to 1872. That was a 6% profit just now in 15 minutes. 100 shares would have resulted in $118. But I didn't go heavy enough on the shares, and I kind of bought a little high. I bought at 18, and I think at 1830. So I just barely caught a piece of this move. Now, you know, Bitcoin can begin to rally from this previous support level, or it can actually begin to sell off even more. So it looks like it is selling off a little bit more. MSTR down to 136.60, but it did get as low as 136.25 just now, which is amazing, right? What else? PLTR pushed up overnight. Pushed up 13% overnight, and looks like now it's selling off from 146.72 to 167. It pushed up $20 a share, or 13%. Now it's down. Now it's only up about 5%. big sell off in PLTR of about 6%. What else here? We got QQQ down 0.32% from yesterday's close. But QQQ pushed up to $643 overnight, back down to $623. And then PayPal sold off. It's down 18%. Jeez Louise. From $54 down to $42. At one point it was down a whole 22% for PayPal. PayPal misses their estimates and appoints new CEO. Wow, new CEO for PayPal. All right, QQQ trying to recover. Let's see, plug. Take a look at this for one of our members. Basically consolidating around $2.10. AG&C pushing up from lows of 11.15. It's a nice little weekly support here. We'll see if it holds. SoFi trying to hold above this moving average on the 5-minute time frame at 22.71. Netflix down to 81.32. Trying to hold above 82 for Netflix, so we'll see if it does hold at this psychological support. Dip below it shortly. See if it holds and begins to push higher or continues to sell off. Hood down to 87.75 this morning, trying to reclaim its $88.70 support. So we'll see if that holds at all from yesterday. Oracle is below its support level. Looks like it pushed all the way down to 156. So we'll see if that holds today. 154 was a better support level. This is a beautiful 3 stages of reversal on Oracle. Sold off to support, pushed up to resistance, nice 12%, and then sold off right back down to support, right? Or even here. So it pushed up, sold off, now it's potentially holding, and this can push up again. I love these setups when they're trade within a horizontal pattern and the range that it's preset itself in. Beautiful move. Very beautiful move. Nvidia selling off slightly, trying to hold above that 183 support level from yesterday, so we'll see if it does hold. Remember, whole numbers and whole dollars and half dollars usually hold very well on psychological numbers. Amazon is being held down slightly around 245.70 as a resistance, as they do report earnings, I believe, on Thursday this week. Apple up to 270. Let's take a look at how Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin's holding up. That's what I was a little bit worried about, so I sold my MSTZ position up here around 1862. We locked in about, I don't even know what it was, like 1 or 2% on the trade. It was a very small amount, and it was nothing. It was $5. I just got in a little bit too late on that trade. So now, if it pulls back, I can buy some more when we get the confirmation that Bitcoin is selling off. But that was a nice 5.85% if you caught the bottom to the top, $1 per share. I'm glad I sold. I bought in a little bit too high on this position. As you can see, I bought 10 at 1805, 10 at 1833, and then sold 10 at 1847 and 1842. So a very small move. I didn't even catch all of it. So it was like 1% on a very small trade. That's what I'm interested to see. Does Bitcoin push back up, retest moving average? Does it go back up and retest resistance around 79,200? Or does this just begin to sell off? Break this psychological support of around 77,700 and begin to sell back off to that 74,500. It's interesting to see. MSTR back down below 138. That would have been a nice opportunity to buy right here. Again, I'd be buying a little bit too high. 18 looked like a nice little area to buy. PDIE says he made about 40 on MSTZ this morning, 6.5%. Congrats. Sold at 1834. Nice, and I believe he held overnight, didn't you? I believe he held overnight. He must have had a nice like $17 average if he sold it around 1830. 1720 average. PDIE, the issue with MSTR is that it doesn't follow Bitcoin anymore. There's some correlation, but it's not 1-1 anymore. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It tends to follow the overall NASDAQ market now. It'll follow Bitcoin, but it'll also follow QQQ. So when QQQ pushes up, it'll follow it slightly. When Bitcoin pushes up, it'll follow it slightly, but it's not perfect, not like it used to be. And I think people are realizing that. There's a lot of investors getting out of MSTR because it is a BS company. It doesn't actually sell anything, like it doesn't sell a product, it doesn't sell a service. It has no income or revenue of any kind. All it does is hold Bitcoin. And for a long time, Michael Saylor has been trying to use its unrealized gains as revenue, even though he's not realizing any of those gains. And he's been reporting them in his earnings. Now, this week, he will have to report these losses. Even if they're unrealized losses, I would be surprised if he doesn't report them. I mean, you should be, if you're going to report unrealized gains as it pushes higher, you should be reporting unrealized losses as well in your earnings. So it'll be interesting to see. PDIE said 25 shares at 16.95, 20 at 18.10. Nice. So yeah, that gives you a nice I'd say like a 1705 average, 1708. So he was able to make some decent money on a very small amount of shares, right? I mean, making 40 bucks on 45 shares, that's literally $1 per share. I may buy 50 MSTZ leading up to MSTR earnings. Oh, he's considering trading earnings. Nice. There's nothing wrong with that. He definitely could. I don't tend to like to play earnings just because volatility is so much higher and it could go either direction. Here we go. Bitcoin's selling off just like we wanted it to do, which means MSTZ is back up to 1850. Again, caught a small piece of that trade. Nothing crazy. And yeah, there we go. Bitcoin beginning to sell off. QQQ also selling off down to 623.67. Yeah, at one point at open, I was up $20 on the day with all my swing trades. Now we're back down to only up about $2. SoFi selling off with the market. Netflix somewhat selling off and recovering with the market. Hood selling off with the market. AG&C pushing up to 1144. But yeah, QQQ's dropping, Bitcoin's dropping. Yeah. MSTR down to 136. MSTZ up to 1877. And there we go. It broke that resistance level back up to 1877. 1888 seems to be a previous resistance for MSTZ. But I mean, it could push right up above that if Bitcoin begins to sell off more. They're going to have to report these unrealized losses, and it could push MSTR down another 5%. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I believe MSTR could go down to $50, $25. I mean, to the point where it could potentially get delisted. There's no reason why MSTR should have pumped up to $500. No reason at all. Again, it's a BS company. And we all know it just, there's so many bag holders right now holding MSTR. It's insane how many people are still holding this from $500, $400, $300, and it continues to sell off. MSTR is down an insane amount. When we look at the daily time frame, this thing is down from $543 highs. It's down 75%, guys. I mean, it's basically as bad as JCPenney was back in the day. It went down, what, 95%, 99%, and then got delisted. And I think there should be an investigation for MSTR. I mean, yes, there's some bad CEOs, there's some bad stocks and bad companies, but at the same time, I mean, people need to be held accountable for this as well. This is insane, guys. Just kind of like with the other Bitcoin cryptocurrency companies that defrauded all their investors and got in trouble and had to pay back money, and I think a couple of them even went to jail or prison or whatever. Was it FTX and it was something else. You know, could Michael Saylor be in that same situation? It's very possible. QQQ down to 621.50. 621.50 on QQQ. This has broken every support, even on the 4-hour. It's going below this 200-day moving average, the green line. So this can come all the way back down to $610. It was just at $610 on February 1st. It was down to $605 on January 20th. And it was down to $600 on December 17th. So this can begin to sell off quite a bit. Bitcoin down to 77,200. Wow. And this is the point where, you know, fear of missing out. MSTR down to 135.50. Right? Touching that support of yesterday. MSTZ up to 1894. So, yeah, just not being patient, not buying back in. But this could be the area where you start to begin to have FOMO. If you're buying at 19, thinking you can go to 20, 21, and then Bitcoin could technically reverse on you and begin to push up. And you could lose money on a winning trade. So be very careful here. You know, consider locking in profits. You're up, 8% from those lows, $1.50 from pre-market. So yeah, amazing. Should have held my position. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Could have bought the dip here at 18. Really went in heavy, 50, 100 shares, and made $50 to $100. So, I tend to miss these moves more than I actually trade them, and I watch MSTZ every single day. So, it happens. Sometimes you just miss the move. Sometimes you miss those setups, and it's unfortunate. Try not to overtrade. It could be distracting looking at other companies instead of just looking at this one. So I could do a better job by having maybe a screen, maybe like a split screen to where, um, maybe I am watching the one company I want to watch, and then I'm kind of scrolling through and maybe looking at other companies. Um, but yeah, that way I don't miss out on these big moves like this. MSTR down, MSTZ is up. I could have did this and been scrolling through all the different companies while I'm watching my MSTZ position. That's an option. And WEBULL has a lot of great options as far as split screens and indicators, different styles. Um, if you guys are interested in WEBULL, if you've never used WEBULL before, we do have a pinned comment in the comment section right here where you guys can get free shares or free money when you sign up for WEBULL. Now you can have multiple brokerage accounts. I think there's a confusion about, if you're using Robinhood, you can't use WEBULL, or if you're using another platform that you can't, but you can. You can have multiple brokerage accounts, and you could always just sign up and take the free cash, free shares, turn it into cash, and take that money out and never have to use WEBULL again. But if you like WEBULL, the platform itself, you can sign up and get those free shares, guys. It's free money. I also have that link in the description. I believe it's the 5th link in the description below, where you can earn up to 75 free shares. We're talking anywhere from $30 to $50, all the way up to $300, $400, $500. I mean, you could get a pretty decent amount of money signing up for WEBULL. So definitely use my link or somebody else's link for you guys both to get free shares. All right, what companies are you guys looking at? Are you guys looking at any companies? Any other stocks? QQQ down to 619. Yeah, my swing trades aren't doing the best right now. We could do an update on my swing trades on a later time. Put down to 87. Breaking that support right there. So just readjust some of these support levels here. That's SoFi. Put a support here for intraday. MST, there we go, right? People who are buying at 19, trying to get it up to 20. It push up to 19.21, and now it's below $19. So be very careful as to not giving in to FOMO, not giving in to the fear of missing out. What goes up can come down, and vice versa. Looks like Bitcoin's trying to find some support right around $77,000. All right. Yeah, totally missed out on that one. Would I go long? No. I would probably never go long on MSTR again, as I did lose some money previously on MSTU. I was looking to go long and it totally got rejected, and we lost some money, and as we should. MSTR is a bullcrap company. It's a BS company that has no revenue. I'll keep repeating myself, but people who want to go long on MSTR could potentially make some short-term money, but don't expect to see this thing go up super high anytime soon. I mean, it could run up, but it's just not something that I would want to trade anymore. Sometimes, you know, you get burned once and it's good enough for you to just stay away from that. You know, I don't mind shorting it. I've been shorting it for quite some time now. If you guys look at my um, trade history here, let's see, show trading record. I've actually been shorting MSTR for quite some time, guys. Since back in December, maybe more. Nope, December. Since December of last year, I've literally been shorting the heck out of it since December 5th. And we started trading this around $10 and $11, shorting, going long, or going long on MSTZ, but shorting Bitcoin from $10 all the way up to $12, $13, $14, $15, making money, trading these spike ups as it pushed back down to $10, and then trading in between. So sometimes you can make some decent money. You could rinse and repeat your trade plan over and over on stocks like this. Now it's up to $19, and you know, honestly, I could have just held from $10, right? From $10 to 19, we could have, you know, been up money. 84% in 56 days, right? Could have also bought the dip right here around $11.50 to $19, 65% in 18 days. But as you know, I'm more of a day trader than a swing trader. I like to make my money in bounce, like to get in and get out. And this shows, you know, you can make a lot of money trading the exact same company. You don't always have to be fighting and trying to figure out what your next trade's going to be, what your next stock is, what's the hottest stock, what's the best one running for the day. Oh, it's this one. Oh, it's that one. And then you have all this um, trying to process all this information, and you're trying to find that next big move when you honestly could trade the exact same company day after day, week after week, until that trade setup just doesn't make sense to you anymore. And then once it doesn't make sense to you anymore, then you know you could find another company that does. So you know, I made a very small amount of money today, guys. It's basically break even for me. I made $5, $5 on 20 shares. I didn't want to keep adding to it as it was at these highs. You know, it could have got rejected around 1877 and I could have actually began to lose money. Came down to 18. I should have added more. I didn't. And now I'm paying the, not really paying the price, but not really enjoying that push up. It's up 9%, $1.60 per share for this move in less than 30 minutes. This at this move here, it was less than 15 minutes. It's a nice 5% or $100 on 100 shares. And I got in too late and I sold too early. And that's the way it is sometimes. That happens. PDIE says, if we're taking profits, we never ever apologize. Did we miss money by selling out? Yes. Did I make money? Yes. No apologies. Yeah, I like that, PDIE. That's a great philosophy to have for sure. Green is green. And to his point, you know, we don't want to apologize because it feels like we did something wrong, right? And we didn't do anything wrong. We saw opportunity, we took advantage, we made money. Yes, he's saying we might have left some money on the table, but at the same time, we didn't lose any money, and that's okay. Because once you start feeling those emotions, then you can begin to, you know, overtrade. Well, I can make more money, and it's still pushing up, and then that's when people or beginner traders get in trouble where they're over trading. They had profits on the day, they were green. Now they're trying to chase that stock or buy another stock because it's not enough profit. They overtrade, they lose money, they get discouraged, they try to make the money back, and before you know it, you're in the red when you were in the green. So, good point, PDIE. Good point indeed. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much where we're going to end the day. I mean, yeah, we could continue to trade. I know I have plenty of shares to trade, but it looks like Bitcoin is starting to recover from 77,000. It's back up to 77,500. Doesn't mean this can't begin to sell off again, but it had that nice sell off right here, right? Very nice sell off. We'll see what it does. It's still consolidating within 77,000 to 79,000. MSTR usually after about 30 minutes to an hour will kind of flatline, somewhat consolidate. You might see some areas where like one day it'll run up and one day it'll run up and then sell off and give back everything that it ran up and gained. Some days you'll see it sell off for the first 30 minutes to an hour, and then like I said, just kind of flatline, not really move, not really do much. So um, yeah, not a bad trading session. It was definitely very informational. You guys got to see my style of trading, and at the very least, you got to see me buy into a position and sell out of a position. It's always about showing up, taking profits, taking a trade, and then taking profits or cutting your losses when it makes sense to you. PDIE, I also use trailing stop loss. I will follow the run up, and if it hits my trailing stop, I'm out. It is what it is. Yep. Yep. I usually do trailing stop losses too. I have in the past videos, and those really help, right? So it's pushing up. It goes up to 1838. You raise it a little higher to 1830. Pushes up to 1850. You push it up to 1840. Goes up to 1870. You raise it up to 1850, and then when it comes back down, you lock in these profits instead of giving them all back. MSTZ and Bitcoin are so volatile where I've had stops way too close and I get stopped out way too early. Like this push from 1871 and then came all the way back down to retest 1804. So that was a huge difference. That would have been like a 65-cent trailing stop loss. So it's all a matter of just getting used to it, making sure that you're not getting stopped out too early, making sure you have a nice spread to give it room to breathe and do these highs and lows. So yeah, that's another great point. Definitely another great point to have. All right, guys. Any stocks or companies you want me to take a look at, I can. Let's go ahead and take a look at our weekly economic calendar real quick. QQQ down to 619. Let's see if you go to our Discord. If you go to our Discord here, I don't know why it's so small. You can see if you scroll down, we have our announcements section, of course, trade ideas, posted the PYPL right there. Our live trading sessions go back literally 2 years, since May 2024. You can go back and watch all the past live streams. Main trading chat room. Usually we have a lot of people talking in there. But if you scroll down to weekly economic calendar, and this is the first link in the description if you guys want to join our LTE team. So of course PayPal reported their earnings this morning. Pfizer, we should take a look at Pfizer and see how they're doing. But after close today, it'll be AMD and SMCI, Chipotle, and then tomorrow morning before open, it'll be Uber and Lilly. And then I'm excited for tomorrow after close. It's going to be Google, Alphabet, ARM, and QCOM. And then on Thursday after close, it's going to be Amazon and MSTR. So I'm very excited to see what happens not only with AMD, but Apple or Google and Amazon and MSTR this week. So we still got a pretty interesting week in the market, to say the least. MSTR will be reporting their earnings. Google Alphabet will be reporting their earnings. So I'm excited to see what happens with that. We said we'd take a look at Pfizer, PFE. This is a company that I've actually owned in the past. They do pay a dividend. They're like wouldn't say a healthcare company, but they're a pharmaceutical company is basically what they are. And yeah, it doesn't look like it's really gone up much from when I used to trade it. I used to trade it like in the 13. Oh wait, no. Um, I used to trade it back in 19 and 20, around $20, 25, 28, $30. Then it pushed up to 50 basically, 49, 42, and then gave back all of its profits. It's now back down to $25. Now this does pay a dividend, quarterly dividend of around 43 cents per share. So interesting to see what happens with them. So yeah, I'll give you guys an update video later on my swing trades that I have, although they're not doing very good because the market is selling off, so not a good time to take a swing trade long on anything. But hey, nonetheless, we will still update you guys on that couple of swing trades that we have. Um, we got AG&C, Hood, Netflix, and SoFi. So if you're interested on getting an update on my swing trades, then look out for that video later. And yeah, I appreciate your guys' time. Remember, don't trade based on anyone's opinion. Only trade what makes sense to you. Don't be afraid to lock in profits or cut your losses. And that'll all help us and help you, help me to be able to end the year on a green note. So thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll see you all in tomorrow morning's live stream where we do it all again. Have a great day, guys.